Two, one.
Welcome to of Purpose, where we dive into the journeys, challenges, and insights that shape future leaders and entrepreneurs. We are Eric Davis,
Roger Scott.
and this is our guest, Coach Hyde. Each episode will explore many ways people are turning their passions into careers and finding their purpose in the world of business and many other industries. This podcast is proudly recorded and produced by Modoc Media, La Vega's very own student-led AV team. Okay, let's start this off.
What inspired you to pursuing that coaching?
Well, to be honest with you, when I went to college, I wanted to be a lawyer, and eventually become a politician, if you believe it or not. And I got through with about 3 years of school, and I went to see my advisor, and he said, "Okay, if you want to stay on this path, you got 5 more years of college." And I said, "Wait a minute." I said, I'm not going to college 5 more years. I've been three. I just want one more year, and I want to be done." And he said, "Well, what else you like doing?" And I said, "Well, I love sports. One thing I was pretty good at when I was younger, and of course had a lot of coaches when I was younger that were good men that set a good example for me and taught me things about life as well as my dad did. And so I jumped in education, became a coach and a teacher, and this is my 31st year to do it. And if I could go back tomorrow, I wouldn't change a thing.
In your opinion, what are the most important traits or skills a coach needs to be successful both on and off the field?
Oh, there's a lot of things that depend on your success. Timing is very, very important. What I mean by timing is being at the right place, the right time, with the right group of kids. Support from your spouse, support from the other coaches in your program, support from the school district you work for is another major factor. Having great kids to coach each and every day that buy into what you're selling, and then I would say the most important thing above all else is work ethic. Your willingness to work hard to be successful as a coach, and your willingness to work hard with your kids to make sure they're successful.
Could you share a bit about your education journey? Where did you go to school?
Well, I went to Robinson High School, uh, kindergarten through graduation. Uh, Graduated there in 1989. Went to MCC, went to Southwest Texas State. Didn't work out very well. That's now Texas State. My dad said, "You're not staying there any longer because you're going to get an education, not to have fun." And so I came back and I went to MCC, and then I ended up at Baylor University. And like I said, you know, pursued a career in law and changed my mind, and very fortunate to change my mind and get involved in education. That's been uh, very, very important to me in my life.
What drew you to the coaching position at La Vega High School, and what does being a part of this program mean to you?
I coached at Conley High School for 7 years. I left Conley High School in 2000 and moved to Corpus Christi, Texas. Only job I've ever taken for money. In 2000, they paid me about $14,800 coaching stipend, which was unheard of back then. Didn't work out. Wasn't very happy down there. Moved back to Gatesville High School in Gatesville, Texas, where I still live at today in Gatesville. And around the end of 2003, I needed a job, and I called Coach Williams. I'd known Coach Williams for a long time. He hired me, and the rest is history. And being here has been, one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. You get places sometime where you meet people and experience things that make you a better person. And this place has made me a better person.
How do you see the balance between academics and athletics? And what role do academics play in your approach to coaching?
I mean, academics is everything. If if you want to better your life, you better concentrate on academics. There's 1% of the whole population that are ever going to be successful in sports, uh, and I'm talking about playing sports. I'm not talking about coaching sports. I'm talking about playing sports. And so, if that's what you're dependent upon to get in that 1%, that's not a very good plan. And so the plan should be for every kid and every adolescent that's going to become an adult is to worry about academics, because academics can change your life. Uh, It changed my life. It's changed many kids' lives that I've known for 31 years. And so, if that's what you desire, if that's what you seek, is to better your life and be successful, the only path forward for any kid is academics. Once again, it'd be like saying I'm gonna be successful or not be successful by rolling this dice and saying I'm getting a one. Well, there's a 14% chance you're gonna be successful. Why would you take that chance, 14%, and even take a 1% chance? Like I said, 1% of the people end up making a living off playing sports. The rest of us work, and I'm not saying they don't work; they work too. But they're very skilled and very talented at what they do, and it requires enormous talent to be successful in sports and get the look you need to be successful. And so, uh, academics is the lifeblood of society, and it's the ladder which every person should depend upon to look for success in their life. If you do that, you'll always find success, in my opinion.
If you could choose anywhere to live, where would it be? And do you think it would impact your coaching?
I don't know that living somewhere is the major thing. Like you guys know, y'all play for us. I live 47 miles from here. I drive here every day, 47 miles, because I love working here. And I live where I live because the cost of real estate's cheaper where I live. And it's cheaper for me to drive and pay for gas than it is to live around here and pay higher taxes. And so, I mean, I don't want to live in Houston or Dallas. I couldn't stand the traffic. I want to live a simple life. I want to coach good kids, and I want to be a school district that values athletic program and the success involved in athletics. And I work for the greatest school district in the world, in my opinion, because our superintendent knows, Dr. Sharon Shields knows the value that athletics plays in each kid's lives. And so I couldn't be more blessed to be here and work for her and Coach Williams.
We all have those small things that get to us. What is one of your biggest pet peeves in coaching or in life?
I think one of my biggest pet peeves is people that always seek to get ahead, but don't value the work that's involved in order to get ahead. There's no shortcut in life. I don't care what anybody ever tells you. There is no shortcut in life in order to get to where you want to accomplish. Like I've told you guys, I spent 24 years an assistant coach before I ever became a head coach. And those 24 years, I didn't quit working hard. I worked hard every day, hoping that an opportunity would show up. And if you work hard every day, those opportunities do show up. And pet peeve, things like that to me, the lessons I learned when I was younger and made many mistakes, mind you, when I was younger, and still make mistakes today, just like you guys. There's no difference between adults and kids. We're going to make mistakes. I'm going to make a mistake today before the day's over. And so, those lessons you learn along the way teach you how to become a better person, a better human, a better coach, a better teacher. Because if you can't teach, you can't coach. If I can't teach you how to add 100 plus 200, then how am I going to teach you to read a tackle and do what the tackle tells you to do? You got to be able to teach the coach. And so, there's a process involved in success. And the more you embrace that process, the better chance you're going to have to be successful.
What's a standout memory from your time as a head coach at La Vega? Something that truly encapsulates your experience here.
Whew. I mean, I want to say, pardon me, I get emotional. You guys don't know that about me, but I do when I talk about things I care about. And so just seeing the look on our kids' face in 18 when we won a state championship, just them knowing that they had accomplished something that set out to accomplish, that they understood that trusted what we had instilled in them from day one. And then more than that, seeing kids that I've coached become fathers, seeing kids that I coached become teachers and coaches, and seeing kids that I've coached become great business people and graduating from college, and being successful today, regardless of the situation they might have started at in life. And so, you can't do this job if you don't love people. And so, I'm very fortunate that my father taught me how to love people. and he's gone today. God rest his soul. He taught me how to love people, and that's the greatest blessing I've ever received in life.
In your opinion, what are the greatest strengths and challenges of being a high school coach?
No, time. Time is a huge factor. You give up things with your own family so that you can spend time with other people's families. And so, your kids suffer along the way a little bit, and you hope they never seen that. And your spouse gives up a whole lot. The hardest job in the world is not being a head football coach or a football coach in general. The hardest job in the world is being a spouse to a coach, because you spend a lot of time by yourself, and you spend a lot of time raising kids when your husband's not there, or your wife's not there. And so, there's many things I missed out on in life with my own kids and my wife and some of my family, so that I could do something I love to do each and every day. And so, excuse me,
You're good.
my greatest hero is my wife, because she's a good, unbelievable coach's wife, and she is someone who has allowed me for a long period of time to do something I love to do, and given up many things in order to sit in the bleachers on a Friday night, or jump in the car and go somewhere on a Saturday and scout games. She's given up a lot of her life so that I could be what I am today, and I couldn't be more thankful for that.
After a loss, what do you do to help keep the team motivated and help us refocus?
I mean, I think as a head coach or any coach, regardless of what sport you coach, you always blame losses on yourself as the coach. Y'all have heard me say it before. I didn't have you ready to play, and I mean, I think you got to be harder on your team after winning than you are after losing. I think as a coach, you got to eliminate ego. You got to understand that sometimes taking the heat for something that may not even be your fault will allow kids to say, hey, you know what? That guy ain't going to throw me under the bus. That guy ain't going to say, well, if so-and-so would have made 2 tackles, we'd have won the game. Or if so-and-so wouldn't have thrown an interception, we'd have won the game. And I just believe that if you're willing to do that as a person and as a coach, that your kids say, you know what? Because ultimately everybody knows what happened, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're willing to take the heat, when it may not even be your fault, and take the heat off your assistant coaches and your players, I think it goes a long way with kids saying, you know what, that guy's a stand-up guy. He's not gonna throw somebody under the bus. He's gonna do what's right. He's gonna take the hit, even though he may not deserve the hit. And I just believe it goes a long way with building relationships with your players.
What are some of your key coaching goals, and how do you measure success both for yourself and your players?
I don't think coaching goals. I'm about done. I've got 31 years in, and so as far as goals and reaching the college level and all that, I've forgotten all about that. My number one goal is making sure the kids I coach know I love them, know I care about them, and know that I would, in the long run of things, do anything in the world for them. And so as long as the kids I coach know that, regardless how hard I am, you got to know I'm hard on all of them. But at the end of the day, I think when you leave this place, when you leave here in the afternoon, I hope you know, and I'm pretty sure you do know, that if something come up where you need somebody, that you could call my number, and I would help you out as much as I can possibly help anyone out. And so I don't care about wins. Actually, I harbor more on losses than I do wins. I don't even know how many games we won since I've been here, and I don't worry about that. What I worry about is what people think about the job I've done and how I treat kids and how I'll be remembered once I'm gone someday. If you're remembered as a good husband, a good father, a good friend, a good person, and someone who stood up for what's right, you'll always be successful.
What strategies do you use to inspire and motivate your players, both on the field and in life?
I think, and once again, I would think that you guys know this. I think having fun's a big issue. There's a time to work, and there's a time to enjoy yourself, and there's a time to get serious, and there's a time to be playful. And so, y'all know as well as I do, when we cross the white lines and it's game time, it's on, or it's practice time, it's on. I'm a serious guy, and I want to make sure that everything is done the way that needs to be done for us to be successful. But I think you guys would all agree that as soon as practice is over, I revert back to the same old guy I always am, joking around, kidding around. So no matter how bad I might have got on you that day at football or wherever, I understand that that's not your life and it's not the most important thing in your life. And so I always make it a point to go talk to somebody after a heated exchange or anything like that. And like I tell you guys all the time, don't listen to how something's being said. Listen to what's being said, because I don't know that I would have wanted when I was your age to have a coach that wasn't passionate about what they do. And I want people that work for me, and I know for myself, I want each and every one of you to know how important what we're doing is every day. And the only way I can do that is by being passionate about it. And sometimes that requires being loud and saying things that you might not appreciate. And so just take what's being said and listen to what's being said, not how it's being said. I think that's a valuable lesson that even I can learn today in society, and a lot of people can learn.
Can you share a bit about your childhood? Were there experiences that set the foundation for your passion for sports leadership?
Oh yeah, I was very fortunate to have a father that coached me when I was younger and everything I did. Now he was hard on me. He didn't let me get away with a whole lot, and my dad was one of those guys. He didn't care if I was his son or not. If he was the head baseball coach and I wasn't one of the best 9 players, then I sat on the bench and watched, and taught me a lot of lessons growing up in life. That if you want to play, you better be better than everybody else. And so he taught me that. He taught me to love sports and to be determined to be successful in whatever I endeavored in. He wouldn't allow me to quit anything I ever started, even if I didn't like it. He said, "You finish it. You don't ever have to play it again, but you finish it." And so that self-determination, that ability to understand that just because I was who I was and he was who he was, nothing was going to be given to me. The fact that I didn't get everything I ever wanted. I had friends that got a lot of stuff when I was younger, and my parents struggled financially, and they had to work hard for everything they ever had, and learning along the way that if I got something new that my parents sacrificed so I could get something that they didn't have was one of the most valuable lessons I've ever had. So I've tried to do better in my life with my kids, but at the same time, I've always tried to teach my kids, I always try to teach my kids that if you get something, that your mom and I are giving up something so you can get something. And so regardless of what we ever gave them, we made sure they understood, hey, this does not come without a price for somebody else. Somebody else gave up something this week, this month, or whatever, so that you could get that new phone because you broke your old phone. I think that's one of the most important lessons anyone can ever learn in life is someone's always sacrificing something in order for you to have something. And so I learned that at a young age, and I learned that along with becoming a parent and sometimes becoming a coach, there's sacrificial love involved, and that simply means removing yourself from all the equation and doing what's best for whoever else is involved in the situation. And so I'm very blessed that I learned that from my father and my mother at a young age, and it's done a lot in my life to make sure that I'm successful and people around me understand that I care tremendously about them.
How would you describe your coaching style and what makes it effective for the team?
I don't think it would be effective in a lot of places. I think it's effective at La Vega High School because we got great kids who are hard-nosed kids and don't mind old-style coaching. I'm not one of them new wage coaches that, everything's got to be positive. I'm one of them guys that thinks things ought to be done a certain way, and that's the way they can be expected to be done. If you're not doing it that way, then we're going to have a conversation about it. And I coach the same way, and all our coaches coach the same way. And I understand there's no such thing as hurt feelings in athletics. There's things said on Friday night on the headsets that a lot of people don't like. And even back to me, and I'm okay with that because I understand that I'm lucky enough to have guys that work for me that are passionate about what they do. And sometimes they're going to say something that might offend me as well. And so just like we do with you guys after the game, we shake hands, move on, understand that there's no hard feelings and nobody meant any ill will by it. It's just part of the game and it's part of the process. And so once again, I hearken back to what I said earlier, that we're lucky to work in a school district and for a superintendent that lets us coach the way we think that our kids need to be coached in order for them to be successful. And so there's not a whole lot of programs out there or schools out there anymore like that. And so it's a major blessing to each one of us that works here.
What's something you strive for every day, both as a coach, as a mentor to your players?
To be better than I was the day before. Just like I tell you guys every day in football. If we can be better on Tuesday than we were on Monday, we can't do nothing but get better. And so each and every day. And so, I mean, I strive to be a better husband. My wife might argue with that. I strive to be a better dad. I strive to be a better head coach. I strive to be a better person in general. Um, and I think by doing so, it only helps others you're involved with. Once again, it goes back to what I told you earlier. Nothing in life matters to me more than what someone's going to say the day I die. Was he a good person? Was he a good dad? Was he a good husband? Was he a good father? Was he a good coach? Did he care about people? Those are the only things that matters to me. And I think if you work on that each and every day and try to be better, because I still learn stuff today at 54 years old that are important lessons in my life. Just like I tell you all the time, when you make a mistake, if you learn that mistake, you can't help but be a better person in the long run. And so mistakes in life are learning opportunities. They're not simply mistakes. Now, if you continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again, then you're not learning anything from it, and it's simply a mistake. But a simple mistake is a learning opportunity if you take that mistake and learn something from it.
Off the field, what's your favorite holiday, and do you have any special traditions that go along with it?
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Uh, and probably my favorite tradition is to have the kids up here in football for practice, have the coaches invite their families and my wife, and for years, and then we've cooked pancakes and bacon and things for everybody, and that kind of disappeared a little bit when COVID hit, but we did it for a number of years. So my favorite holiday is Thanksgiving because there's nothing involved in it except being thankful for everything you got in life. You don't have to worry about going out and buying somebody a Christmas present or going out and buying an Easter egg or a rose for Valentine's Day or anything like that. It's simply about being thankful for what you have each and every day of your life. And so as a coach and as a husband, as a father, and as someone who's been around a lot of people in life, I have a lot to be thankful for. And so that's my favorite holiday.
How have your kids impacted your life, and what role do they play in shaping your perspective as a coach?
You talking about my personal kids? Ooh, man. I'll just give you a funny story. When my kids were younger, I don't sleep much. My wife will be the first one to tell you that. I probably sleep about 3 hours a night. I sleep in a recliner. I don't even go to bed at my house. I sleep every night in a recliner. I have for years. And the reason I did that was because when my kids were younger, I promised my wife that I would never bring work home and do work at home until my kids went to bed. And so for years, I would get home, drive straight home to Gatesville, hour drive straight home, put my laptop on the charger, eat dinner with my kids, watch TV with my kids, help my kids with their homework, visit, play games with the whole family, whatever we had to do. And I never would work on anything with football till my kids went to sleep at night. And so that's one reason why I don't sleep much now, because that's a learn. You spend 14 years, 15 years doing that every night and working till 2 or 3 in the morning because you don't want to take away from your family time with your kids. You become accustomed to not sleeping very much, and I still don't sleep today because of that reason. But my kids have taught me so much, knowing how to love someone completely. You choose your wife, correct? You choose your friends. You choose you choose where you work. You don't choose your children. They're given to you by God. And so, man, I don't know what to tell you. There is no greater love a person can have than loving their kids and seeing them become adults and be successful and hopefully have some of the characteristics you've taught them along the way. My daughter got married this summer. She sent me a picture the other day, which was me seeing her for the first time in her wedding dress. She wouldn't let me see it. Of course, we paid for it, but she wouldn't let me see it. She let my wife see it and everything else, but she wouldn't let me see it because she wanted to have that little first glimpse. And she sent me a picture the other day, and it's just me completely broken. It's seeing her for the first time in her wedding dress. And just a moment I'll cherish the rest of my life. It's the greatest thing ever happened to me is having kids.
What do you do? What do you enjoy doing outside of coaching? Any hobbies that or interests you that I'm sorry. Hold on.
Anything I like to do outside of coaching?
Yeah.
Ah, I like to go to the casino. Uh, Probably not a good move, but I do like to gamble. My wife and I both like to gamble, modestly, not in a big way. It's just a habit I developed when I was younger. The first time I ever went to Las Vegas, I was 16 years old. My parents took me to Las Vegas, played a little slot machine, and got hooked on it. Been hooked on it ever since. That's one thing my parents did wrong. They created a gambler out of me. But other than that, just spending time with my wife and doing things she likes to do because she does a lot of things that I like to do. And so we're going to welcome our first grandkid this March. I'm going to be a grandfather to a baby boy in March, and get to start all over as being a parent. And I can't wait.
What is it like seeing your former players after they've graduated, and how does it feel to see the impact your influence on their lives beyond high school?
I think it's probably one of the most gratifying things you'll ever do in life. What I mean by that is, to see we had a kid come up here, not long ago. He showed up. He lives in San Antonio now, and he was just driving through. I don't mind telling you his name. His last name was Snell, and he showed up, and with everything locked up nowadays, you can't get anywhere because So he called somebody else and found my number. He said, "Hey, coach, you in the field house?" And I said, "Yeah." So I went outside, and he played for us in 2006, which is a long time ago. And he said, "Coach, I just drive by and I wanted to tell you, thank you. Thank you for what you did for us when we was younger, because I'm the person I am today because some of the things y'all instilled in us when we were younger." He said, "Without you guys, I might not be where I'm at today." I mean, what more can you ask for? That's better than winning a state championship any day of the week. That's a kid saying, "Coach, you love me enough to be hard on me. You love me enough to not let me get away with things. You love me enough to be demanding. And because of those things that I didn't understand when I was 17, 18 years old, I do understand now. And I realized it was those things that charted the path for me to be successful." I mean, once again, you can take all the state championships and throw them out the window and give me that every day. I'll be satisfied.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Pathways to Purpose. We hope you gained some valuable insights and inspirations from our discussion. Remember, the journey to finding